Hi everybody, welcome to Jim Runs and Stuff. My name is Jim, and today we're going to go over my running gel that I use. When I started the Kodiak training, I was realizing how many gels I was going through in a given week. And one, that's like really expensive, and two, it's extremely wasteful. So I started doing some research on making my own and what that really looked like. There's a ton of resources out there for different options. This is very much an amalgamation of all of those. But a lot of credit, most of the credit I think for this goes out to Ultra Trail Steve for his formula that I'll link to here and also in the notes. Anyway, so unfortunately I don't have a full-size blender, but I have one of these like smoothie ones. This works fine. It just means that I have to kind of double it up here and then mix in here later. Not a terrible thing, just more of a workload. If you have a full-size blender, you can do this all in one load. Not a big problem. So we're going to start it off. Let's go ahead and start with our banana. You could try to work these things like halfway, like I will try this time, or you can just do it at the same time and then vary what you're putting in each batch. This actually makes quite a bit of stuff. We're going to add our pink salt in there. Let's do a couple of our mushrooms. Oh yeah, really rehydrated well here. The mushrooms here are just a dried shiitake. You can use almost any kind of mushroom. I use dried just because they keep for a lot longer, and then I'll take those dried mushrooms, put them in about a cup of the apple cider, put them in the microwave for about 30 seconds, leave them to steep for a couple of minutes. They get nice and hydrated just like this. If you don't put these in the microwave to steep, they can be kind of a pain to get. Doing this on camera makes it a little bit weird. There. Fingers. We'll do about half of our blueberries. Actually, frozen blueberries are amazing things. You should always keep them in your freezer. Our kids love them a lot. What's great about them is they're almost like frozen popsicles, like that, you know, in a bite-sized thing. So you could just chuck them, easy eat, really flavorful. You get all those like antioxidants, things like that. So for the nuts, we have 25 grams of honey roasted peanuts. You can use any kind of honey or any kind of roasted peanut. It doesn't really matter. I like this just to add a little more sweetness, some more salt. The other nuts is kind of a variety mix. This has Brazilian nuts, walnuts, almonds, cashews, I think even macadamia nuts. Again, it's about just making this a nice complex fuel instead of just straight glucose and water and sodium. Pitted dates here are really just a sugar replacement. If you've ever had just a straight pitted date, it is nature's caramel. Rolled Oats. Let's see here, we're filling up pretty good. And, all right. One of the things that you should be warned about with the malted barley syrup is it is a serious pain in the rear to deal with. Malted barley syrup, for me, I use it again a lot in my baking. In baking, it helps with the browning of your breads and things like that. But for the gels, I like it because it's a much more complex sweetener than just straight honey. Honey for me can get a little one note, but also with everything else going on in this recipe, it adds a little bit of the caramel notes to things, as well as those like umami flavors. I use one of these like honey spoons to get in there, and it's just a pain. It's super thick, super sticky. And just, yeah, it's kind of a pain, but it's so good. Oop, okay, throw that up there. Should have done this beforehand. Try to be better about my mise en place, but yeah, there's always something. juice that. Normally I use a juicer, but unfortunately it is dirty because someone decided to use it and not tell me. Should like a lot of pulp. Yes, there are better ways to be doing this. All right, with that, we'll just put this on. Oh, I forgot my avocado. How could I forget the avocado? Avocados are great. Good source of, what they call healthy fats. Again, buying them frozen like this means you could do a lot of stuff with them. Put them on your salads. Make some impromptu guacamole. It's gonna be loud. Here we go. Round one over. Take that. Kind of empty it into there. It's not the prettiest mixture in the world. Trust me, I have seen worse. All right, when it comes out of the blender, you're gonna notice some chunky bits, or flakes, I guess is the better word. This is some bits of the mushroom, the chia seed, and what I also find mostly is that it's like the blueberry skin. All totally fine. With the bottles we use, or with the flasks I use, I've never had a problem with anything getting stuck in there. You're totally fine. You're not even going to notice it. And take your spatula. Just get as much of this out of here as possible. Got a nice tricolor thing going on here in our mixing bowl. Simply stir. So it's at this stage we can really get in there and decide on the thickness preference that we're going to want. For me, I like this a little bit loose, a little more smoothie-esque in consistency, but if you prefer more like a really thick goo, or I think was it a Morton's? I haven't tried them, but I've heard they're really thick gels. You can add some protein powder to the mix to thicken it up and get, again, more nutrients and things in there, or maybe even some almond flour, whole wheat flour if you really want to go, although that would really alter the taste. I'm not sure how well that would work. Or if you want it a little thinner, maybe more of like a drink kind of consistency, you could just add a little bit of apple cider, thin it out. A little bit goes a long way. Always check it here. This is the stage to check it. So I use these soft flasks. This is a company called Enagini. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. 2 of these come in a pack for like 15 bucks. I have a couple of other things from this company. They're a decent company. The quality of their stuff, it's not one of the name brand companies, but they're fine. I think if you're going for like elite level stuff, you're gonna be paying elite level money. This is good entry level stuff. So we'll take this, a nice funnel. I try to put it as like close to the top of that as possible. This fits about a full cup of, calling it gel is probably not the right word. I think puree would be better. And then chopstick you use just to kind of help fish it down in there. Again, this is not a pretty process. It's not a pretty substance. Almost tastes like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's got a lot of complexity from the nuts, the different nuts that are in there, from the malted barley syrup, along with the honey. Honey always brings a nice note to it as well. But then you get some of the fruit from obviously the blueberry, the apple cider, and the pitted dates. Give it a nice fruitiness to it as well. Very complex, not something that I would get bored with, again, 10, 15, 20, 25 miles into a run. And that's a lot of the points about all of this. So once it's filled up, the next step is just to chuck it in the freezer. These things are really great in that you can just put them in your vest, frozen, and then by the time that you actually need it on the course, they're thawed out and ready to go. I've never had a problem with it being frozen when I needed it. And also in the summer, if it's really hot and I'm doing it in my long runs where I have my bladder, I'll throw one of the frozen pouches back there, and then I get nice and cool water for probably about half my run before everything thaws out. All right, so the rest of this I'll divvy up in between these two cup Pyrex dishes. These will go into the freezer. That way when it's time to refill my pouches, my soft flasks, I just take one of these out, let it thaw, fill my flasks up, and then I'm good to go. All right, well, that about does it for today. Please like and subscribe, comment below, let me know what you thought of this style of video. I've never done a cooking video before, so this is kind of cool. I've always wanted to. Next week is week 13. It's supposed to be the first week of taper, but I think I'm going to actually do a lot of what I was supposed to do this week for peak week, and then just instead of having 3 weeks of taper, I'll do 2. I think it should be fine. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, lace up, get out there and be safe, everyone.